Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman. I'm here with a good friend of mine, man. Introduce yourself, sir.
Raymond. Raymond Hazelwood, aka LiL Raymond from Compton. I no longer like to, provide my hood name because I don't represent that no more, But we all from the Compton car, and we on a positive tip now, trying to exchange knowledge to better our community.
Absolutely, Raymond. I'm so happy to hear that,
Right.
man. You know what I mean? Because I think about these interviews we have from time to time, and I just, you never know where they go, but you like the finished product, man, and that's what I can say to that, man. Right. But okay, so let's get into it, man. Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman, man. Let's get a little background first of all. Where did your parents grow up at?
You know what? My parents, my mom is straight L.A., man. You know what I mean?
Born and raised?
Born and raised, man. She was actually born in Alexandria, Louisiana. That was a whole nother story because my grandmother got, pregnant when she was in L.A. And back in those days, it was kind of a dishonor to the family to get married, pregnant out of marriage. They sent my grandmother to back home to Louisiana, and she came back, married, and that's the story I got. But those generations have so many secrets, man, that I get that story in pieces. But
man, it's interesting because man, there's so many of us had ties to the South, man.
Right.
Texas, Louisiana.
Think about almost all of us.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But yeah, my family, my mother's, side of the family is mainly from Alexandria, Louisiana, and Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
Which is not too far from each other.
So, growing up in Los Angeles, where are some of the places you live?
Ooh, well, see, in my younger days, man, I was in and out of like homes, foster homes. A lot of people don't know that. You know what I mean? Because my mom, she had her own struggles with addiction. And that's all I'm going to say because I don't like casting a negative, shadow on my mother. A lot of women, she came through the 60s, she was grown, but the sexual revolution,
she was part of the Black Power movement?
No, because she wasn't conscious like that. You know what I mean? My mother, struggled. She struggled with addiction.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Her whole life. In my life, me and my siblings, our journey, was affected by that.
How many brothers and sisters?
I got, for my mom, I got like one brother and one sister.
Okay.
My brother Rodney, a lot of people that grew up in they didn't even know he was my brother because we kind of lived different kind of lifestyle. My brother, but he was in and out of the pen early, man.
Early?
Yeah, and he died. I think my brother passed in 2001.
Okay.
And, we didn't find out until after the autopsy came back that he died from complications from AIDS,
Rest in peace,
right.
Rodney.
Didn't know how he contracted, don't know. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I know when he wasn't in the pen, he dealt with like homelessness and stuff, you know what I mean? So he had his own journey, man, and his own struggles,
Okay, good enough. So let's get to it, Raymond.
Yeah.
What should be the position of the Donmoos and Keyways and essays and how to strengthen their alliances during this geopolitical storm that we're caught up in right now? What advantages should they be taking right now?
Well, that's a good question. In my humble opinion, and I have to say, it's my opinion because truth is, I don't really know the answer, but in my opinion, especially us, because we the elders now, whether we accept it or not, our group that grew up, because we in our 60s now, and going on, you know what I mean? It should strengthen our awareness and our desire to want to organize and strengthen our alliance in order to educate the younger generation, man, and try to do something to deter them from taking the path that we did, man. Somehow, I think it our responsibility to not glorify that lifestyle, but to show them the pits of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
The fact that, if I was to be honest, man, my most of my adult life was spent getting, past issues that resorted from that real dark part of my life, man. When I was trying to be, part of that destructive lifestyle, that gang.
What was the darkest part of your life?
Well, that gang banging era, man. It was destructive, man. You know what I mean? It kills your spirit. You know what I mean? Any consciousness that you might have had from your parents or your elders, it makes that null and void, man. You know what I mean? And not only that, it destroys your community. So, it destroys what otherwise could have been, our history. Just think of when I think of the brothers, and sisters on both sides that lost their lives, not just physically, but some lost their minds, lost their freedom. You know what I mean? A lot of wasted potential, bro. That should have been spent, building our communities, man, and leaving a legacy for our children. Instead, we're fighting, trying to nullify a destructive and deadly legacy, because we don't want that legacy passing down to our children, man.
Yeah, I have to give it to you, man, because at one time I was guilty of having a tombstone mindset and a graveyard disposition.
Right.
But let me ask you a deeper question. Does the triple OGs and double OGs and Gs, do they silence? Could we consider that selfish?
It is selfish. It's selfish, and your silence is destructive. You know what I mean? Because in order for us to be effective in terms of helping the generations that follow us, we have to be honest, man. Quit glorifying that lifestyle. You wasn't bad. You wasn't a gangster. You killed your community. You dishonored, our ancestors and the struggles that that they had, and in terms of civil rights, human rights, you understand, and trying to build on black empowerment. We went all the way backwards, bro.
Okay. Let's deal with the law enforcement aspect of it, because I think that we don't recognize just how big of a part they played in us being at odds with one another. And then also, you can consider them a fourth, because you got Donmoos, Key West, essays, but policemen are a fourth gang.
Yeah, they was a gang, especially in Compton, man. Compton, I don't have to remind everybody that Compton PD, man, was probably, I don't want to say one of the most corrupted, because we don't really have knowledge of the other ones, because we didn't have, but we saw how they not only pitted us against one another, benefited, financially by exploiting the drug dealers and the hustlers in the hood, man, and in some cases, man, taking murder contracts, man, pretty much they were in the mix, bro. You know what I mean? You right, they was another gang. You know what I mean? And the only difference between them and the sheriffs who eventually took over is that the sheriffs, kind of showed more hatred towards all the people of color when they came in, and they had their own gang, which was was more antagonistic and deadly to all of us, as you you and y'all, from I don't know firsthand, but from what I hear, they was trying to put out hits on y'all. You know what I mean? Not just y'all though, but other sets. But and I think that was probably on the money tip, because they had their hands in all the drug money and the street money.
It was definitely based on individualism, because certain individuals had capability that was beyond just the average dude that was walking, and those dudes posed a threat not only to opposition but police as well. You know what I mean?
But when I put down the police like that, I have to say though that that there were a couple that contributed to helping me and gave me a way out. Lieutenant Jackson from Compton PD, and it wasn't a judge. I thought he was a judge back then, but he was actually a commissioner, and I can't think of his name right now. But they actually, gave me a break, man. And I got a few cases dismissed, after fighting a series, long years, fighting cases, and they forced me into the Marine Corps.
Good.
And that ended up changing my life. So,
you know what? I don't disregard the fact that there's good cops. Yeah. But until they start being anti-bad cops,
you're right.
I got a problem with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I would be. I think it would be fair for me to, because that's true.
Because we don't live in one size at all.
To speak out against, say, just Compton PD, you know what I mean? And not mention the fact that it was a Compton police officer who saw something in me that I didn't see in myself and helped me get a way out, man. And that ended up changing my life for the better.
So let me ask you this. And this is like a Trump question, man.
Yeah.
When have law enforcement not played a part in white supremacy? 40% of the people believe that Trump won the election. How do we fix that matrix in the age of alternative facts?
How do we fix that matrix?
Yeah, that metric.
First of all, we can't put, any value in anything Trump says, because I truly believe that he's a sociopath. And if we talk a lot, we communicate a lot on social media, then you might notice, or maybe not, that I stopped criticizing or, making personal put downs to Trump a long time ago, because in my opinion, I found that that's counterproductive. Don't make it personal, because you're dealing with a sociopath here, a dangerous man. And, I see a lot of my people get on and they all in their emotions. I hate them. I don't hate nobody, first of all. You know what I mean? But in order for us to, and I say that to say Trump is mentally deranged, because white supremacy actually should be, in my opinion, a form of mental illness. They're not rational, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So again, is white supremacy annoyance enough to bridge the gap in our community?
It should be. But it's not, because right now. It's not right now. Because and I'm gonna use an analogy that you probably more familiar with than myself. Only because, no diss, but you spent more time on the inside. But it appears that brothers, come together more on the inside, because they have to come up against white supremacy and other,
You're absolutely right. And that's how you get the UBNs and the bloodlines and the CCO and the Blue Notes and the Blue Magic and all this other stuff.
Unfortunately, it don't really translate that well.
It don't carry over.
It don't carry over to the outside.
Yeah.
But it should bring us together, man, and make us realize, man, that we're much stronger, together. And somehow, hopefully, we'll find a way to stop allowing everybody to divide us over anything, man. You know what I mean?
That's perfect. That's perfect, man. You know what I mean? Because we've been there's so many distortions, so many obstacles, there's so many things that come up against us, man. And when we're fighting each other, man, it makes it that more easier for these people to come in and do what they want with us. And,
That's why I stopped, in dialogues like this. And other dialogues that I know are going to be accessible to the public, I stopped saying I'm from this set and I'm from that set because that's part of the dysfunction, and that's part of the division that was created by other groups that didn't have our best interests at heart, man.
Whether it's CK, colored man killer, BK, black man killer, so it's the same thing, right? There's no difference in that.
Because it's time to, in my opinion, man, that we won't help the younger generations that's coming behind us until some of us they look up to, man, admit that was a sickness, man. It was dysfunctional.
What is the responsibility of hip hop in contributing to? Is there a responsibility in that?
As artists, in that, it's that age-old argument, does art reflect reality, or reality reflected in art? You know what I mean? But history proves that art can play a significant role in elevating the consciousness of a people and affecting their history. Look at the what we call the Black Renaissance period in the 1920s, man, when we had a large number of authors, James Baldwin, E. Franklin Frazier, W.E.B. Du Bois, in the arts, Paul Robeson, you know what I mean, Sammy Davis Jr., and all these artists that turn conscious, names that's trying to come to my mind that I can't think of, but all of these people were also activists and played a role in elevating the consciousness of a people and eventually affecting the outcome of our history.
True.
So the artists do have a responsibility.
Yeah, because you would think that people like Lil Wayne, he have all this money. Why would he want to be?
Because Lil Wayne is ignorant, and he has no knowledge of self, man.
And then all the cats in New York, Jim Jones, and all these guys are claiming brims and all this stuff. You know what I mean? And this Kachi 6ix9ine and all these people, you know what I mean? It's buffoonery.
They media. They media gangsters.
Yeah.
And what they're doing is they're exploiting our legacy, man, which, it's not all positive, but for their own financial gain.
Yeah, because we were serious.
Right. For their, and they really, it's kind of offensive in that they making a joke, man. To me, that's the way I see it. They making a joke out of something that's no joke to us, man, because it costs a lot of people that we love our lives, man. You know what I'm saying? We can put it down all we want to, but all of us have, alliances that were built on the front line and loved ones that we lost, man. So it's not funny to us. It's not a joke
at all.
And it doesn't feel good when people like these artists come along and profit off of those, off of our bloodshed and our loss.
Really. And man, good word, man. We had a great conversation. I'm gonna leave it there, but before we go, man, I just want to give a shout out to Ricky Pitts, Stanley Pitts, the twins, Lawrence and Terrence, and also the Blockhead brothers, Reggie Hicks, Freddie Hicks. You know what I mean? And just go all through that, man. And Jimmy Butler, you know what I mean? And Herman Jr. and Willie T, man. You know what I mean? And go on down to the Chisholms, man.
Even Little George.
Little George was always a pain in the butt, man. Little George, Little Country, you know, Big Country, you know what I mean? And I just want to give a shout out to all those individuals I went to school with, man. And
Joey, you know.
Joey, Malcolm, and Joy, you know what I mean? I've been talking to their nephew, Joy's nephew and Malcolm's son.
Oh, you know,
and man,
Maurice or Malcolm?
Maurice.
Now, that's a heavy brother, man. He's a good dude.
Yeah. So I will be taking up with him. But anyway, I want to leave it right there, man. Shout out to you and your family. Continue to do all the things you do. Professor Melly Mel, the Hood Postman. You know the vibe.
All right. Peace out.
We out. Great.
Yeah, Maurice is a good dude, man.